What's up, good people? Welcome to Alex Real Deal Reviews. Folks. In the words of Roland Ray, it's not giving what it's supposed to have given. And I don't know if what I expected of this series is what the writers were intending, because it's just not hidden for me right now, or probably ever. I mean, this episode was pretty slow, but when it did get to the meat and potatoes, it was great, but it was so slow getting there, and you can't really afford that. Like, these episodes are only roughly 35 to 45 minutes. So you gotta get to the point and keep the audience engaged. And that first 25-ish minutes, and that ish could be another 10 minutes, honestly. I mean, I was clocking in and out because this episode was so monotone, until they got closer to the twist, which is the only redeemable part of this episode. Everything else was, I don't know. There are 2 more episodes left of this series, and I do plan on reviewing them as well, but I don't really have any expectations now, Like, I'm not really looking that forward to them, and that sucks because I really liked the concept of this series, and I really think if they could just cut out the fluff in the episodes, that, there's potential there, but you don't fall in love with potential. Wow. I ran it at the beginning of the review this time. My bad. So if you are still with me, let's go ahead and get into this review of American Horror Stories, episode 5, Ball or Bow. I don't know. It don't matter. All right, so this episode opens up at a fertility clinic where we have a couple who's been trying to get pregnant for a couple of years now, and none of the fertility treatments seem to be working. So their doctor suggests adoption perhaps, but wifey really isn't feeling that because she really wants to have her own child. And, she says money's no no problem, she got that. Which is a bit of foreshadowing, because apparently she inherited a lot of money, even though they never gave an amount, or at least I wasn't awake enough to hear if they did. I don't know. This is gonna be a hard review, guys. And hubby, he's pretty much living off of her. He's an actor, but he's doing mainly background work right now, and they don't really tend to make that much. Trust me, I know. But yeah, so she's going to the receptionist to set up another appointment for a fertility treatment, and the receptionist tells wifey that, hey, I've seen y'all struggle all of these years, and I may have something that can help. So she whips out this fertility totem of Ball, a fertility guide. She tells her that it's pretty much a guarantee. So old girl takes it home and puts it under her bed and immediately tests it out and gets busy. So cut to 16 months later. Wah, it's a baby. So I guess it worked. Go Bow. And as the scene progresses, you can tell that wifey may be suffering from postpartum depression. And now we cut to a scene where she's in a room and looks under the bed and finds the statue that apparently is still there 16 months later. No one looked under the bed in over a year. I find that very hard to believe, unless y'all just masked it. Strange thing number 1. All right, So wifey finds it, throws it in a box, and throws it in the closet. Then hubby, he comes home for a little bit to check in on her because the housekeeper was a bit worried, since she's kind of experiencing a little depression. So they talk, and he says that he's working really hard and he's working this job because it can lead to better opportunities, so he won't be living off of her and her money. But yeah, I mean, they seem to have a really good marriage, and he, seems to care, and he's looking out for her. He even suggests that she goes to see a doctor, to kind of talk over her feelings, and how she's feeling with the baby and everything. So night comes, and the baby starts crying because that's what babies do. Wah, wah. And she looks on the monitor, and she was about to ignore him and go back to sleep until she checks the monitor again, and she sees a demon, so it seems. And of course she rushes into the baby room, and the demon is gone. Strange thing number 2. Moving on. She goes to see the doctor, and they talk, blah, blah, blah. This scene didn't really have any importance to this episode, like a lot of scenes. But back home after therapy, things seem to be going a bit better. At one point, she goes to check on the baby, and she discovers that the statue she put in her closet is now in the crib. And it's also changed to look like the demon she saw on the monitor a couple of nights prior. Strange thing number 3. Now, at one point, she finds herself in the basement, I guess. I don't know how she got there. I'm clocking in and out at this point. But it looked like an animal attacked the vents, and they were all like tore to shreds. Strange thing number 4. And I think after this part is when she discovers the recording on the monitor that kind of sounds like a demon saying, "He is mine," or "I want him back." I'm not sure which one they said. It was one of those phrases though. Trust me. I am sorry. This is a horrible review, but y'all gonna watch it though. Oh, by the way, strange thing number 5. Okay, so she shares all of this with her husband, of course, and he thinks she's going a little bit cray-cray. So he gives a call to the doctor to come by, and she does, and pretty much confirms that she also believes wifey is going a little bit cray-cray. And she gives her some calm down pills, which is an awful way to phrase that, but I don't know what type of pills they were because I wasn't paying attention. Anywho, so where would you take your wife who is suffering from postpartum depression and seeing and hearing demons? Let's take her to a dinner party and play with the Ouija board. I was so dumbfounded by this scene. I thought it was a flashback at first because I was like, no way after all this he thought this was the best spot to take her. But yeah, they play Ouija, and of course they joking around at first, but then it starts moving and it spells out, "He is mine," which of course was on the recording that she heard. It sounded like a demon voice. Strange thing number 6. So of course, wifey freaks out, as she should. And hubby is like, "Hey, those are my best friends in there that you just embarrassed me because now they think you're crazy." Is that what concerns you, sir? Seeming crazy in front of your friends? How about you help your wife get some relief and some help? She's struggling and you worried about your friends? And then he starts talking about, "I can't do this no more and you need to get your stuff together." I mean, I understand to a point, you know, you're trying to help someone you care about and nothing seems to be working, and believing what she's saying about this demon just seems impossible. You know, you can't, demons? No, you not can't believe that. So I get it, kind of. Anyway, cut to the next scene. We have a bit of a Carmen Sandiego cosplay here. And wifey confronts the receptionist about the totem she gave her, and we find out the receptionist is a little bit into witchcraft here, okay? You know, she got her grimoire, spells, and knives and stuff. And, you know, and she tells her that she really only meant to help her, you know? So she finds this banishment spell for Bao, and she gives it to wifey, who then goes home and does the ritual. And we got smoke and the full Monty going on, and then something approaches her from behind and she stabs it. It being her husband. She got like right there too, all types of nerve damage, poor thing. So wifey has checked herself into a psychiatric facility, you know, until she can get things figured out. You know, I mean, she did just stab her husband, so she got some things she gotta figure out a little bit. Okay, so hubby, he comes to visit, and you know, for someone who was just stabbed by their wife and left with the infant alone, he seems pretty cool. You know, he's handling this pretty well, you know, and he doesn't harbor any ill will towards her or anything. Strange thing number 7. So at this point of the episode, I am tired, bored. I want the episode to end, but I'm still aware enough to be like, did hubby make a deal with Bao or something? Because it was just something off, you know? He just seemed way too cool, way too calm for this situation. And lo and behold, next scene, we got hubby getting in the car with the receptionist. And this is the beginning of the only redeemable part of this episode. So we find out in the very next scene that everything was a scam. It was all a plan the whole time. The receptionist ain't no witch. She bought all that crap at like a flea market or something. And even his friends were in on it. They were doing like the special effects with the monitors, the noises and smoke and all that. And one of them dressed up as the demon. And they even created the different changing fertility totems and all that. All to get her money. So I know she must got a crap load if they did all of this. But I mean, as horrible as it was an amazing and well executed plan. So kudos to them. Unfortunately, this is a American Horror Stories, not true crime. Turns out Bao is very real. He popped up on the crew and he said, "Don't play with my name." Well, he didn't actually say that. He just killed everyone except hubby, who was left to take the fall for everything. So next scene, hubby's at the prison, and a wifey, soon to be ex-wifey, I assume, comes through in the "I'm a bad bitch" outfit. You know, looking like the divorce papers are hot off the press, okay? And he tells her that he confessed about everything they did to her, but he didn't do the murders. You know, he tells her about Bao, and of course she doesn't believe him, so she plays like, because in the last scene of this episode, full of scenes I don't want to see again, we find out that the banishment spell was actually a summoning one. And wifey set all of that up because the demon was under her control now. And I'm ending it there because that's where this episode should have ended. instead of continuing for another minute and 15 seconds where she asked the demon to give her another baby. And that was episode 5. This review was not the best because this episode wasn't the best, so it got the review it deserved. Listen, it was a great twist that unfortunately won't be appreciated as much as it should because the build up to that point was so slow and drawn out and frankly kind of boring that it loses you and you're just sitting there waiting for the episode to end, if you're even still watching it at that point. So like I mentioned earlier, there's 2 more episodes left, and that's my show. I'm gonna stick beside it, and we gonna finish this thing out, all right? Again, thanks for watching, and I'm off to the next review.